Thank you for those that reminded me. I know I needed to do this. Um, so here we are. This is the next chunk. Um, I'm using the high def. It really is making a difference here. Okay, so I've got 20 minutes to get this done. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, remember, we had left basically the end of section two with Pliny saying, I am following this way. So he has basically, talked about why or what should be punished. Is it the name Christian? Is it the crimes associated with being Christian? Is it those who are Christian or those who were Christian? Should it matter? I mean, like there were a lot of sort of nitpickiness in the legalese. Remember that this is written in the first person. Okay, a lot of letters, of course, you're talking about what you've done. And I don't know. Yeah, here we go. Remember, uh-oh, where did that go away? I don't want this. Okay. I'm not trying to minimize. Okay, sorry. My computer just hiccuped. It had a moment. Remember that this is an I, and so that first person singular I, O, or M. Okay, so those are kind of the verbal endings that you're looking for. And when we go to this section here, you're going to notice the interrogate. All right. So you start with the verbs, okay? Notice that the I goes to an essent here. All right, so it goes to third person singular. There's probably a reason for that. Look at this interrogawi again. All right. Okay, we have usi. Look at the dookie here. I don't know if you guys noticed that that's actually a passive infinitive. All right, that's a good one to know. All right, if you remember, for your infinitives, the regular are ARE, long ERE, short ERE, and long IRE. Remember those as your present infinitives. All of these, when you see them, are translated as to do something. Now, if we want to make it to be done, so like amare, to love, make it amare, to be loved, then you change this final E to an I, and it becomes RIERI. The only time that changes is here with the short ERE, where the entire ERE changes to a long I. Okay? This would be IRI as well. All right. So the only time you really get something funky is with the third conjugation verb. And of course, both Duke, oh, look at me. Let me try that again. Duco to lead and Dico to say are third person, or third conjugation, excuse me. So both of them in the passive become Duki and Dicky. All right. So what we have here, when you see this, Dookie with the long I. Of course, remember, and the same rule. So we've talked about scansion before, guys. And you're like, well, how do you know it's a long I? Well, I told you before, words that end in I, O, and U are typically long. Those rules and those ability to find those long by nature marks are going to hold true even if you don't scan. All right, even here, I know this OS, I know this is probably a long OS. This is going to help you out. Okay. So just because you can't scan it doesn't mean it's not useful. Dubitabam. Look at the BAM there. That's that first person singular. All right, dubitabam. That's the imperfect. We have the asset here. We have the furentur there. Um, we have the um trying to think, is there another one here? Oh, here. Punire and debire, both here. Sorry, I did not see the four. That should be it. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little hint. There's a Minatus here. Now, did I print off? I did not. I'm going to encourage you guys to look up the vocab for this Minatus, and you're going to notice that it is in fact a verb. Let me see, is it here? Um, I know I should be pausing, but just give me a second. Oh my goodness gracious. I've got things popping up everywhere. All right. Well, I'm gonna not deal with that right now. It is, never mind. We'll talk about it in class. Okay. Basically, it's a participle. You're gonna add an S to it. I'm just gonna do it like this. is. Okay. How do I know the S should be there? Because it doesn't make sense any other way. And I will explain that more in class. All right, let's go to prepositional phrases. Now, scanning, actually, there are no prepositional phrases in this one. So let's not worry about that. Let's start with the accusatives. Um, ipsos. Okay, we have that one. Supplicum is one. You're going to be getting a lot of accusatives because notice that you have a third person or first person. So any of the nominatives. Now remember, if you have a nominative like an O or an I, the only like real pronoun you're going to be expecting is an ego. Okay, so if you don't have an ego, then the odds are you don't have a subject. So some of these, while these UMs could be neuter nominatives, it doesn't fit with a verb. So that doesn't work out. Um, let's see. Again, look at this. Usi, you see that I? Because again, you look at the ES, you're like, well, that could be nominative or accusative, but it has to be nominative or accusative plural, and this verb is clearly first person singular. Therefore, this has to be accusative. Okay. So it is a bit like I don't know, like a puzzle, a logic puzzle. Okay. And you do have to use what you know to figure out what you don't know. Pertinacium, am is always. Em, okay. Obstinatonem, em. All of those, actually, this quote is also. Okay. All of those indeed are in the accusative. Actually, this really isn't a tough one to match up, is it? Um, Christiani, okay. It's got to be um, nominative plural. Look at the verb, the NT there. That would make sense, to have that there. And then, is that a period? Yeah, I think that's a period there. And then the confidentes, okay. Because again, you have the I, we have a new sentence here. Um, and the verb here is going to be going, sort of like, which is the first person singular. And so you're going to have the accusative there. That actually was very straightforward and kind of easy. I should have made you guys do four too. Maybe I will go ahead and do four too. Not right now, but I'll do it later. But here's three. Okay, so make sure you have your markups for three done. Make sure you go over one through three, and we'll probably have an in-class open note quiz on whenever I have you guys again. And I don't know when that is because I blue and gold calendar up, but whenever that is. Okay. All right, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll talk to you later. All right. Bye.